And we are live with another broadcast in the Roofing on the Rise studio. We are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated here in the Houston marketplace, where you can get your shingles, or if you call them shingles like I do, get your shingles from me. 210-919-8987. I'm going to put my number across the bottom of this screen right now for you. Also, if you are looking for an awesome public adjuster, we are sponsored by West Group Public Adjusting in the Houston marketplace. They service people all over the place. They do appraisals, they do umpire work, PA. If you're looking for someone that'll take care of your clients like they're your family, West Group Public Adjusting is the way to go. And I am so excited today. We have a treat. We have everyone's favorite roofing contractor, Eli King. Eli, what's up, brother?
How's it going, man?
Man, I am just stoked to have you on today, man. I think we've talked about it a couple of times and just have not had the time to do it yet.
Yeah, I'm humbled to be here. You know, I kind of see the type of work that you do. And, there's always a part of someone. I think particularly like people in roofing that have come from like rougher backgrounds where it's like, do I qualify? Am I valid?
Yeah, so. Of course you're valid. I love it, man. I have been following along and as well. And I really like how you pull your phone out and you record, right? So a lot of people have that problem of actually getting that content and they just don't understand how to do it. They think that there's a special sauce to catching content. And really it's just pulling out that phone.
Yeah.
And press and record. I mean, it's real easy. And you do that all the time.
Well, I saw a post, I don't know how long ago, whatever. I'm pretty active in the Facebook world, not so much a few other, social medias or whatever. And I saw a post that said, what's the number one piece of technology your roofing company uses? And my comment was my iPhone.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I already have it out at work. I'm taking elevation photographs. I'm taking photos of damage. I'm, doing whatever. And somewhere along the process, what I realized was there was homeowners that had zero education on what was going on when we were on the roofs. And so I started like sharing content regarding what that process looked like. And then I realized I was getting a lot of roofing contractors that were reaching out to me, asking me questions like, how did you know that? How did you identify that? Et cetera. And so I kind of try to do a fine blend of both. Like, This is this process and this is why we do this process, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's not like a super produced video, right? It's not like you had somebody come out with lights and post-production. Like you just pulled your phone out, right?
I literally pull my phone out and I go like this. Eli King here, everyone's favorite roofing contractor, and I'm out here in Aurora, Colorado right now, or wherever I'm at,
Right.
And I just go from there and I just begin to explain what it is I'm exactly doing. I started off with a lot of lives, and I would notice that, as a man, to get 300-400 views on a live or 700 views, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. And then later I kind of altered to reels because they seem to stick around a little bit longer.
Yep.
So I think the highest I've gotten is like 6.8 thousand views. I've got 4.5, a lot of thousands, things like that. But yeah, it's just raw content.
Yeah, man.
No editing, no anything.
Yeah, I applaud that. I just started editing film like 7-8 months ago.
Yeah.
Pretty just like I was enamored with it. I just wanted to like do the captions first. And then I was like, oh, this transition looks nice. So I started messing with transitions and then filters and then audio quality. And dude, it just kind of animations and it just kind of went from there. And then now, thank God, and a big, huge thanks to the team at RSI, management team, CEO Darren Bro, standing behind this podcast and behind the marketing of it, and really understanding how much time that it takes to put into all this. I mean, we broadcast 3 to 6 hours a week. And then on top of that, we produce 7 to 14 reels every week. And that's a lot. So to
Yeah.
produce that, to do all that stuff, it takes a lot of hours. And so, I mean, I was up until midnight. The first month that I was here, um, I was up until midnight for almost every night.
Yeah.
And now thank God and thank you, Darren, for supporting this and getting behind it, understanding the value of the editing staff now. We have 3 editors that we have. 2 of them are on full time, and they are in another country. They just work so much harder than anyone else that I've interviewed,
Mhm.
and we together put together an amazing production,
Yeah.
whether it's a reel, whether it's a Facebook Live. The guys are behind me. So, like, the overlay on the podcast is not here yet. It is still in production. We've been working on it now for about 4 weeks. It's been under construction for 6. We just wanted it to be right and wanted to look right. So hopefully, with the help of the editing staff, it'll be done here in the next couple of days. Big
Nice.
shout out to Koish and Amit for helping out and doing all that they do. But yeah, talking about business, um, your company, right? The roofing broker.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And where did the
Well,
name come from?
yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I had worked at a roofing company and I helped kind of build up their sales team from just a couple people to a lot of people. And I think the last year I was there, I think we did 24 million in sales. Nothing crazy, but we started off with me and one other sales guy. And so really kind of built that up. Typical roofing story, somewhere towards the end, I decide that I wanted to take, the end of the fall and like the winter off, and I get kind of screwed out of some jobs. And
Right.
so I leave that company and pretty much broke, because like any other roofer, right, I'm always thinking there's another roof, there's more, hail's
Right.
always gonna fall, God's got my back, whatever the case is. And so a lot of polo shirts and a lot of whatever, right, all the things. And so I leave pretty much broke. And I didn't know what I really wanted to do at that point. We had this kind of falling out, the owner and I, and so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly. And I didn't think that I wanted to like rebrand myself with another company, because I had worked in Illinois with the company. I had moved to Colorado, Iowa and Illinois, moved to Colorado, trial and error with one company for about a month. Wasn't a huge fan of their policies and their culture. Just kind of left some jobs on the table there and went to, this next company. And it's like, do I want to rebrand myself? And also, I don't want to build roofs either, right?
Yeah.
I know how to manage projects from beginning to end, do all those things. I've done that for years. However, it's like, I'm not the roofing builder, I'm the roofing broker, right? And
Yeah.
so what I decided was I wanted to give homeowners an option versus like someone knocks on your door and we sign this contract and or contingency agreement, and then you're stuck with me because I'm going to do what I say, and really you haven't had time to research the company. So I looked at 36 companies in the Denver metro area. They're, kind of what their culture's like, how much they pay their crews, how quickly jobs get done. I boiled it down to 5 companies, and I decided to create partnerships with these 5 companies. And that way I could give a homeowner specific options for, what they wanted to do based on products, services, timelines, warranties, etc.
So
And
they can pick from 5 different companies.
5 different companies. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's different.
Oh yeah. And so what I have is, and of course there's one way over there and it's filled out, but
You have a niche is what you have. Holy shit.
yeah. So I started the business with $13.80, 2 packs of sticky notes and a half dead Sharpie marker. Within a year, I had a national brand. And
That's
yeah,
awesome, dude.
designed all my own logos, create all my own, flyers, different products, from
Oh,
beginning to end.
that's nice.
Yeah. And so we also offer like lead.
Just a little input. I don't like all the black,
Yeah, that's fine.
but in my opinion, it's just like an asshole. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I like that though. That's like the inside is catchy.
Oh yeah.
I like that, especially the left and the right. I like that. It's real catchy.
Yeah. And so just basically so everything I do is really lead generation.
Yeah.
Okay. My customer, I'm actually a business to business sales company.
Yeah.
Right. And my sales reps do B2C. However, our clients are not the homeowner or business owner that's getting a roof replaced. Our clients are the roofing companies. Right. So we generate everything from telemarketing leads to, leads we generate with sticky notes in the field to complete jobs, full roof replacements with scope of work or cash bids or whatever. And so just kind of depends.
So, okay, I have to touch on the telemarketing because that was something that was kind of one of the big things. Like you started sweeping the nation. Like I want to say it was 5 months ago. Started like you were everywhere. Every time I looked at Facebook,
Yeah.
you were in Dallas. You were in. I want to say you went to Minnesota,
Illinois, Minnesota.
yeah, you were all over the
Nebraska.
place.
Yeah.
And you were training contractors how to open up their own telemarketing division inside of their company. Now, that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this.
Well, so I have a telemarketing company, right? And we sell leads to contractors. So I had 150 clients last year that the spectacular thing was that our leads were converting at about 80%. So if you were buying 20 leads, you were getting 16 full roof replacement jobs and nobody had heard of it. And my promise, like to the contractors, was these are leads set by roofers for roofers. This isn't some foreign call center, which is fine. I'm not against that. Also, like the lady that makes my book covers and edits certain things lives in another country. I'm not, opposed to that. But when it comes to understanding the roofing market, right, there's something special about not having an accent over the phone or being able to think quickly or know names of supply houses, just different things. And so I took people that worked at chapstick factories. I took a lady that was a nanny. I took, people that were in recovery, and I began to train them on how to generate leads. And within a week or two, they sounded almost like a PA over the phone. It was crazy, right? And so I gave them like 9 years of experience packed into a couple weeks of, standing over them. No, that's not what we're saying. Nobody woke up this morning and was like, God, I hope George calls me for a complimentary roof inspection. No, and so what happened was, I was setting those leads and doing all that stuff. And over the winter time, things get slow in roofing. It's just a fact. So I was restricted to the Oklahoma market, the Texas market, and storms come early in the year in those markets, usually like March, April, whatever. And so like we were just slowing way down. And a buddy calls me from the Dallas Fort Worth area, and I'll give him a shout out if it's no big deal, but they call him Brother Roofer. And it's my friend Devin. And he calls me and he says, man, I don't understand what's going on. You're one of the best salespeople I've ever met in my life, and you're sitting around struggling right now. Mind you, built the company off $13.80, so real thin throughout the process. And I said, well, it's wintertime. There's snow on roofs. And I had about 10 excuses. And he says, no, you got a product to sell. And I said, yeah, most of my clients are Midwest and, Western. There's snow. And he goes, no, dude, you're training. You started selling it, then you stopped. And I said, yeah, people want like a book and like training videos. And he says, okay. And I said, oh. dude, I invented this. I
Yeah.
created this. And he goes, yeah. And I said, I can do videos. I got green screens, lighting, like I have everything.
Yeah.
Polo shirts, whatever.
The
Yeah.
light bulb went off.
Yeah. So I posted on social media that I was going to write a book called A Telemarketer's Guide to Mastering the Art of Lead Generation, Gaining a Competitive Edge in a Saturated Door-to-Door Roofing Market. Okay. And I said I was going to write a book, and 3 weeks later, one of my clients from the DFW area calls me, and he says, I want to buy your training. And I said, well, the book's not done. And he said, well, I'm sending you the money now, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. And
Wow.
And so talk about putting it into gear. I wrote the book. I finished it in completion. I wrote a workbook to go with it. I made several training videos. And before I knew it, they were just like, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And like, I don't know, the impact that it had for the company culture. I know that like a lot of roofers these days, they want leads. They almost like expect it. When I came into the roofing industry, you were going to knock doors, you were going to get referrals, and maybe if somebody called off of a sign in the neighborhood where you staked it, they were going to tell you. Otherwise, it might actually go to somebody else, And so, basically like the results were like these guys were being able to hire people and promise them leads. They were able to close more jobs consistently with my pitch and with the process to follow up with it. And that's just kind of, the rest is magic,
That is freaking awesome, dude. So that push, you had that hardcore nudge.
Yeah.
Did you know that person? Like, well,
the guy that called me and said, what are you doing, is a very good friend of mine. So I've helped him kind of structure a company similar to the roofing broker with hail dent removal and some other things.
Okay.
I've shared my contracts with them freely and openly. I'm all about I'm not going to give you my training and my book for free, but if you call me, I'm all about giving you as much free information as I can give you. Yeah. And it always baffles me. I mean, I've had third largest roofing company in the country, sixth largest roofing company in the country, smaller outfits, people that have been around 20, 30 years calling me, asking me like, how do I do this? How do I operate this? I'm having this struggle with my sales team. I'm always humbled by it because it's like, it's little old me, man,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're solving someone's problem, that anyone should be apt to pick up the phone and ask for help, right? Especially if it's their problem,
right?
And I see how humbling that could be by, I don't know, maybe going from, we have this certain compartmentalized thoughts about ourself, self-doubt. The self-talk that we do sometimes is not always that great. And I feel like with what you just said, that like that original conversation with your buddy, that's what you were doing. You were making these excuses. You were saying why you couldn't do it.
Exactly.
And he was like, what? You're telling me every reason why you should.
Yeah.
And, you're like, they want a book, they want videos. And then you're like, I'll write a book.
Yeah.
I'll do some videos.
Yeah.
And it's all off that talk. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's that self-talk that we have. So if you're in here, you're watching in the future, self-talk is extremely important. I feel that I know that everyone has a certain, you have the devil and you have the angel, right? And they're combating against each other constantly. And I look at that on self and the idea of self-talk. So, the little devils over there, saying why you can't, all the reasons why you can't. And that little angel, is talking to you very softly, like, hey, you need to do the right thing and just do it. Like Nike, big shout out to Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
They were really smart by that catch line, by the way. That they really smart by copywriting that. Just do it. And that it just seems like a lot of the times we give our devil a microphone, a fucking megaphone, so that we can't hear the right shit.
Yeah.
And we listen to it until finally we have that tipping point, and then it is an absolute avalanche from there. And I feel like that's like when you did that, everyone's seen you all over the place. They've seen the avalanche.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring.
Well, I've had the experience kind of twice. Okay. So when I was with that former company, and I like to remain everyone nameless just for whatever's sake, my business insurance don't cover that. No.
Yeah.
But when I was with that former, company, I was the sales manager, or, even top rep before I was the sales manager, any of those things. And I left that company, but I had started like making these videos. I was actually like at the everyone's favorite roofing contractor. People ask me about this, but like I was at this adjuster meeting, and there was a new hire or something that was with me, and the adjusters had ran into me several times in the Denver area, and they're like, dude, you're like everyone's favorite roofing contractor. All the homeowners love you. All the adjusters love you. You're always out with these guys, And so the new guy takes it back to the office, and before you know it, it's like, oh, it's everyone's favorite roofing. You know how the guys are.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's favorite roofing contractor.
Yeah.
He's got
hold on. Watch out. It's everyone's favorite roofing contractor. Yeah. He's coming in.
Yeah. And so, so I jokingly leave the office and like start creating these video contents on my Facebook Lives, which were like Eli King here, everyone's favorite roofing contractor. So that began to like brand itself before there was the roofing broker. And when I left that company, everyone watched me. I went from like my fully loaded truck that the company also took a truck I purchased from me kindly. And I bought this raggedy like Jeep Cherokee with a 5.7 liter Hemi. Shout out to Jeep Cherokee.
Okay.
And I'm in a 22 Gladiator right now. So, life hasn't been too bad.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I love it.
I don't like those things.
Well, I live in the mountains.
Well, I guess.
Okay. So
G-Wagon would be just fine. Same price. Close to it.
Not even close.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Trust me, I look at G-Wagons every day and I say, that says the roofing broker right there.
Fucking all over it, bro.
Yeah. And so, I'd have to start shopping at like Neiman Marcus or something after that. I wouldn't be able to. I'm a Macy's guy personally. But, and so they watched me again. Like I made a live video the day I had went to, are you familiar with Dale Childress Jr.?
Oh, of course. Big shout out to Dale.
Yeah, I love
He's
Dale.
Always dropping some golden nuggets, bro. Always.
I feel like he wrote a book of posts, and every day he just like goes in his book, and like.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's like,
I've
seen him in person, and when I'm actually on some training videos, I'm the front seat. I'm right in the front, and it's packed, bro.
Yeah.
And I've got to hear what he's got to say. That guy is super smart.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people in this industry that know more than me. And I always I'm front and center. I want to hear it.
Yeah. And so Dale and I consider us actual friends. We talk, we text, we check on each other. We, promote each other's content, whatever. But he reached out to me when I was at that other company, and he said, hey man, I'm going to be in Longmont, Colorado. Do you know any companies that I can hit up while I'm already out there? I'm selling a property I have there, whatever. And so I get them plugged in. And at that time, I think we had 12 or 13 people that I had helped hire on and train. And so they come in, and I'm the only experienced sales rep in the room. Okay. I'm vigorously taking notes in awe of some of the stuff he's talking about.
Yeah.
No one else has a pen or paper out, right?
Yep.
Everyone's laughing. And one thing he said, and I share it, and it's in my book. I was on the phone with him, and I said, hey, man, I really want to share this thing that you taught in your class in my book. Is it okay? And he said, you are the only person that I know that used it, and you built a national brand. Please share it. He said, I don't even teach it in my trainings anymore. And it was to take sticky notes.
Yeah, you said that like 3 or 4 times now. I was like,
because it changed my life. And this was the beginning of the avalanche. I can't find one right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, sticky notes.
Yeah. So take a pack
Right
of
here.
sticky notes. There's 100 in a pack. Okay. And write good news. Call me. My phone number, and then just Eli. And stick them on doors in neighborhoods way past when everyone's knocking the doors, like beyond the door hangers and flyers, right? If you put 100 sticky notes up, you will get 15 to 20 phone calls almost guaranteed. I can almost put 20 up if it's the right, you can kind of decide and get 20 phone calls back.
Yeah.
Then it's pitching them to get back to the house. Well, what's the good news?
Handwritten.
Yeah, handwritten sticky note. Handwritten sticky note.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, so actually, you heard it first with Dale Childress.
And you missed it. And now I'm telling you, I built a national brand with sticky $13.80, a half-dead Sharpie marker, and 2 packs of sticky notes. And I got so many calls from hanging the first ones up, I went straight to Office Max and spent the $13 on Sharpies and sticky notes.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah. From there, got the money to design my own website. From there, got the money to design my own logos, trademark my logos, my names, all the things, right? Came from sticky notes. And, and things progressed throughout the process. But yeah, so they watched me go out with these sticky notes, just explaining my devastation. Okay. Like, this company just took me for $32,800. They took my truck. I have nothing. What am I going to do? To suddenly, like, I wake up, I prayed, actually. I had prayed that day. I said, God, what am I supposed to do? I went to bed. At 11:30 at night, I popped out of bed with this crazy idea that these sticky notes would work. I looked at my desk. There was a computer on it, 2 packs of sticky notes, the Sharpie marker, and literally $13.80 in cash. I had no money in my bank account. And from that moment, I got up and I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning. By the end of the next day, I think I had made like $600, then $1,600. The day after that, and it was just like, oh, this is where we're at, man.
That's nuts.
Shout out to Post-it Note,
Shout out to Post-it Notes. Oh my gosh. That is an absolutely inspiring, invigorating story of success. Like, if you are watching and you are saying, I can't do it, get off your couch and grab a sticky note.
Right.
Like,
if you don't want to knock doors, it takes about 1 hour to hang up the 100 sticky notes, and it takes about 50 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes, depends on how fast you write. And what I do nowadays is I find a female and I say, you want to make $20 an hour? Doing what? And I hand her 4 packs of sticky notes, and I, hold up $80, and I hand her a Sharpie, and I say, this is what I want written on them. And it's better handwriting,
Yeah.
Yeah. When I do that, I get a lot of calls. Is this Ellie? No, this is Eli, but what's the good news, Ellie? The good news is
Ellie.
Yeah. When the women write them out.
That is great. Do you find a better return when the women write it than when you write it?
I have, and I don't know, I'll just maybe hold up this sticky note. It's a Illinois attorney, but like, I have pretty decent handwriting,
Okay, yeah.
I have pretty decent handwriting. I mean, not great, like comparatively to like the women, it's sloppy, but comparatively to men, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I get any better response no matter who writes them out.
I think just having it handwritten is everything. I know, a big shout out to Adam Bensman. Adam is a sales trainer, and he doesn't do sticky notes, but he does do a handwritten note that
Yeah.
you slide into the door,
Yeah.
and or a handwritten letter
Yeah.
that you do. He does do some typed stuff as well. Um, and generally, the stuff that was handwritten with any of the sales teams that I ran,
Yeah.
it had a bigger success rate. And,
Mhm.
Dope Marketing even does like handwritten postcards and handwritten letters, and yeah, by it's
Machine
a
written,
it's a
handwritten.
machine written handwritten
Yeah.
letter, right? Um, and and
Which
gen-
honestly, yes, that looks the same, but I believe in energy, right? And I
yeah,
believe there's something special about if I took that moment, like as an example, what I do on like holidays or just different times, I will go back and every customer that I possibly have, um, like their address or can reach out to or whatever, I
right,
literally type out a specific letter to them thanking them for their business,
yeah,
right? And even though I'm at a totally different company, I'm not with whatever, I reach out to them, I thank them for their business, and I put things in there like, do you remember when Fido tried to bite my ankle or whatever, right?
yeah,
Or do you remember that turkey that was in the backyard when the adjuster was there? That was weird. And, just things like
yeah,
that. So to jog their memory, because
yeah,
I like to say, nobody remembers who put their roof on 3 months ago.
yeah.
I
It's
mean, I've
hard.
talked to so many people with brand new roofs.
Oh
They
yeah.
cannot tell you the company. There is nobody that doesn't know that Eli King was their contractor, though.
Actually, I'm gonna put it out there. Connor Mack.
Yeah.
There's one person that I've met. Actually, it's not one person. Everyone that I know that has branded themselves, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, the roofing broker, or the everyone's favorite roofing contractor, right? Myself, the Roof Don. I didn't claim that. One of my sales reps named me that 3 years ago. Connor Mack has your friendly neighborhood roofer.
Yeah. I like that. I've seen it.
He's everywhere. If
Yeah.
you look for a roof in the North Houston area, he is referred probably 5 or 10 different times. And when he leaves, they remember him.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about personal branding is
Yeah.
that they pick you because of you. It's
Yeah.
your brand. It's what you bring, the charisma that you bring, right? They love all of that.
Yeah.
And that's why they're picking you. They're not picking you because of your company. They're not picking you because of, and you know, I mean, it is what it is. Joe Blow Roofer or XYZ Roofing. They're not picking XYZ Roofer. They're picking uh, Eli King.
Right. And
They're
I think that
picking
goes
Marquise Mitchell.
something for like sales reps to remember in general is like one thing I've almost never done. On occasion, I don't ever wear roofing clothes. If you notice, maybe I'll put an ABC hat on because I'm not having a good hair day, which is frequently.
We'll get
Maybe
you
I'll
an
put
RSI hat.
it's fine. Maybe I'll put on a beacon hat or something that I grabbed like out in the field or whatever.
Yes.
I wear regular clothes. I will go out and do roofing in this shirt
Yep.
right now. You will see me today on a live at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or on, whatever,
Right.
on a roof in this shirt, carrying a ladder up the roof because I'm just me, man. And so nobody cares. Like when you're at the door and you're like, hey, this is Kyle with 1234 roofing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Nobody even cares that you're Kyle. Like, I went out one day, we were out of state, and I took one of my sales guys with me, and we were selling specifically to my main customer here in Colorado. And so he's like, I need business cards, I need shirts, I need whatever. And I mean, I think I sold like 9 roofs over a 2-day period. And he's like still saying, I need this, I need that. And I said, for what? He goes, I don't have anything to tell them who I am. And I said, you tell them who you are.
Yep.
What are you talking about? I don't have any of those things.
Yep.
I'm not handing them my Denver business card. I'm not saying this is the roofing broker. Like, I'm here saying this is what I can provide for you.
Yep.
This is what
It's
I
a
want to
big
help you
deal.
with.
Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, hi, my name is, I work for, we've been in business for, it's broken.
Yeah.
That
We're just in
model,
the neighborhood.
you just like, okay, so that worked in 2001.
Yeah.
It does not work in 2021,
Yeah. That
right?
worked in 81, 91,
81, 91, right? No, we really didn't even work 2001. We really tried to change things then. Um, you know, I started about 11 years ago, and things were things were a lot easier then, but they're not. Like, thinking back, it really wasn't easier. It was just you had to be creative. You had to say things differently. And it's the same thing now, but even more because we have this, right? So everyone's on this, they're on Facebook, they're on YouTube. And like, big shout out to Adam Bensman. He's got a lot of free training. Becca Switzer has a lot of free training as well. And those are people that I looked at all the time to see, because like Becca Switzer is a big a big promoter in not being self promotion. And let me dive into that a little more. Not necessarily not self promotion, but not going to the door and saying, "Hi, my name is, I work for." Like, that's one of the things she's like, if it sounds like that, stop. So
Yeah.
if you like have a problem with your pitch and you just cannot figure it out, you could either hit me up, or what's so much easier, what I've done so many times, I just clicked a link for Becca Switzer's Roof Sales Mastery and watched a couple of her videos on YouTube. That's what I love about content on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can rewatch it over and
Yeah.
over and over again. And I wasn't even the one that, like, I knew about all these people, but a friend of mine said, a contractor, a sales rep as well. It was like the beginning of the season, the hail just hit. We're all sitting around drinking a beer the night before, right? And we're like planning. And he's like on his phone, dude, and he's listening to this stuff from
Mm-hmm.
Becca and Adam and like 3 or 4 other people. And I'm like,
Broker. No, I'm just kidding.
bro, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I've got to sharpen up.
Yeah.
I got to get sharp. And this dude had been like, back then, he was in the industry for over 10 years. And big shout out to Justin Murphy. Justin, if you're watching this, looked up for you for very, very long time. You already know this. And so he got into it. I started watching it, and it helped me. And I always tell people, Dale Childress, anyone, the roof broker, you could look at my stuff on YouTube as well. Mine's very, very different than educational. I'm going to bring some educational stuff, but it's mainly the YouTube. But click on YouTube, do the due diligence to get into your craft, to master this craft.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuses. You have $13.80, a Sharpie, and some sticky notes. You can go out and you can make a dream happen.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I'll tell you, so I consider Becca like a friend of mine. We're both Colorado. And, at one point she was going to, promote the book. I, reached out to her. She got busy with a lot of stuff. And then I got busy, obviously, as you said, state to state, kind of jumping around. And we haven't revisited that. But I came across her several years back. I can't remember how long ago, but it was a while ago. And the funny thing was, what caught my attention to her, other than the obvious, she's cute, right? And so, which I think girl roofers are a thing right now. I think it's trendy, and I think they are crushing it. By the way, I have so many female friends in roofing. Like, as a matter of fact, if you're a female and you're in roofing and you want to relocate to the Denver metro area where there's plenty of hail, I would love to have you on the team. Just side note, like, not anyone. If you're moving, I would love to have you out here selling. We can crush it together. But yeah, shout out to female roofers.
Houston, Texas. I am looking for a badass BAMF. Okay, I'm not going to finish the rest of it just because I'm fear of being canceled on YouTube.
Both.
But listen, I need a proven $1 million producer for a company. I'm just going to be humble and say north of $8 million roofing company, very prominent roofing company here in Houston. And they're looking for a sales manager, more like a director of sales for their residential department.
Mhm.
Awesome comp package. Uh, would love to talk to anyone that's interested, and definitely females too.
Yeah,
Since we're
I mean,
talking about,
there's a dynamic that comes with like the female roofer that's like the
I'm
same
telling you.
the same gentleman that's gonna tell me no, or like if it's a husband and wife and maybe whatever, it's like I'm a decent looking middle-aged guy, right, with a nice truck, even though you don't like them. I love it. And so maybe they're
Like,
gonna tell
okay,
me no, but
I
like
just think they're ugly. I
well
don't
the
think like they're an awesome vehicle. Don't get me wrong. They're an awesome vehicle. I just think they're kind of ugly.
that's
I
fine.
mean, unless you do something with it, right? Like you got to put on some fat wheels. You got to change it up, bro. Like don't get it stock and just drive around stock. It is not meant to be stock. That thing is meant to be fucking tricked out.
Correct. But I
Yeah.
want to swing back to this. So it's
Sorry.
like, um, but anyways, so like we'll go back the Becca Switzer thing.
Sorry.
She's cute, so I watched the video, right?
Right.
I'm just being honest. And then what happens is, as I'm watching, because I didn't have any formal sales training, and I'm
Yeah.
100% closer. I mean,
Yeah.
in all the years I've been roofing, I have missed 11 contract signings, period, if there's been damage, right? 5 of them were because I could not prove the company I was selling for was local. They had the licensing, but they didn't have the office yet. Okay, that was this year. And then 3 last year, all in the same day, because I kept bringing the homeowner on the roof. I don't know why I did that 3 times in a row.
Wow.
Because note to self, or note to you guys, a homeowner does not think it looks that bad when they're
Yeah.
staring right at the damage. Okay. To them, they're like, that's not that bad. Right.
Yeah.
When I'm having photographs and I can expand it and show you how the fiberglass is already there, etc., it's a totally different story. But so I missed 3 then, and then over the rest of my duration, I only ever missed 3, like just period. And I still want to get this little old lady in Castle Rock, like she comes out like, sweetie, it's dinner time, and he's got pin on the contract, right?
Yeah.
And I looked and I said, I know what it's dinner time means. I have a grandmother, and I said, so I'm going to let you guys talk about this. We're going back for them next hailstorm. So,
Nice.
anyways, point is that I log in and I see some of her content, and I realize everything that she trains, I do almost exactly how she was training, people
Yeah.
to do. And then that caught my attention. So I became a follower of hers initially. I remember when we became actual Facebook friends, I was like telling people, I am one of Becca Switzer's 1,338 friends, right?
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is fucking great. I think we all have that, like that one person on our Facebook that we.
Yeah, I have several now, but way
Yes.
back then when I became like one of her real friends. But yeah, so we've kind of built some sort of relationship, communicating, talking, passing ideas. But yeah, I mean, she's got some great content. So
Yeah, I love it. I think that it's really, really crucial for people to plug in with people like yourself, people like Becca, people like Adam Bensman. And the reason, man, I preach Adam Bensman because I know he has the most free content on
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
for
Oh,
sales training. If you're looking for a sales training platform, I have viewed a ton of sales training platforms.
yeah.
For one, if you've got the money, STG Sales Transformation Group, go look into that. They're definitely a singular tasted type, not singular, they're broad, but it's really for those that are looking to level up anywhere between $5-8 million and up, right?
Yeah.
Now, it may be for you if you're underneath that. Who knows? Just go look at it and you'll find out. Very, very high valued, high quality sales training platform, STG. But outside of that, if you're looking
But
for,
you're gonna pay a lot.
if you
If
need
you're an
somebody
individual
now,
sales rep and you're
Adam
looking
Bensman,
to experience, I love Adam.
Adam Bensman,
Very little guy, very
yes,
huge impact. Like,
yes,
and as a human, his spirit towards people is genuine, and I think that
yes,
reflects in, as an example, like when you have a spirit of love and giving, you naturally put out more, right?
yeah.
And so I think that's why that's available. If you're more closed and business minded, you're going to give just enough to get, the sale.
Man, I have a lot of awesome, never before heard content from Adam Bensman. He was just on my podcast about 2 weeks ago. I'll put a link in the broadcast since we're talking a lot about Adam today. And I didn't feel like we were going to end up talking about him a lot, but it just ended up happening. Because we're talking about innovation here. We're talking about things that are different, right? Like the sales training in America has got to change, especially for your door-to-door sales reps. Like, when I originally started had Adam Bensman, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now. But I'd
I'll tell you something. So what my like response to the trainings that I go out and do for these companies, as far as build your own in-house lead generation system, is, see, people asked me, why would you do that? Are you going to phase yourself out on leads? Are you going to, don't you still want to generate leads? And I said, no. I'm not. The leads aren't going anywhere because everyone's not going to buy the training. And then the reality is, I mean, I bought lots of Grant Cardone stuff, right? And I watch about 2 to 3 videos of it. I start applying that. I get all amped up, and then it's somewhere in my email, and I've spent $1,500 on it, and I'm not really like using it anymore, right?
Right.
Which, good idea. Go back and watch some stuff I paid for. But with my training, like what I do, that's a little bit different than everyone else's, is there is no reoccurring need for me once I leave. So while I'm there live on the spot, whether you do a 1-day 9-hour training, which, just like shameless drop, right now I have for $7,500. Okay. The standard package is $14,979. Okay. That's 6 roofs. Once you've done 6 roofs, you have your ROI, right? And you're going to get on 6 roofs and sign 6 roofs the week I leave, guaranteed. You are messing me up here.
I had to.
Okay. So, if you do a 3-day, 4 hours a day training for 3 days in a row with your team, you're looking at $8,500. Okay. Right now it's on sale again. Normally it's, basically 15 grand and like 13 grand, depending one day to, whatever.
Get it hot now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And so I'm doing that because there's so many storms right now that have fired off all over. And I want to give people the competitive edge. Like, again, the book says it's not just a telemarketer's guide to mastering the art of lead generation. The subtitle is Gaining a Competitive Edge in a Saturated Door-to-Door Roofing Market, right?
That's huge.
Yeah. And so, like, do what your competition can't do. Like, I can take the lady from the chapstick factory, or I can, with no sales experience, or I can take the experienced roofer, and in 8 to 9 hours, insert following up with my training videos and stuff to, keep yourself refreshed, stick with my pitch. You're going to be setting anywhere between 1 to 3 leads every hour before I leave. And then, like the other day, I was doing some leads personally myself for a company in Texas, Total Roofing Systems in the DFW area. They're some of my favorite people. I just love what they stand for. It's a husband and wife. And I personally do their leads. Okay. And I was on doing their leads, and I had somewhere I needed to be 2 minutes and 22 seconds from the time I started calling. I had an appointment set. Okay. Wow. 14 minutes after that, I had another appointment set. Anyways, I set 5 appointments I think I owed him 4 more appointments, and I did 4 appointments in that 1 hour. Now I can do up to 6 if I can get people to answer. You know, it's up to 6, and I think it's just really important to be like, okay, I can train your entire roofing team. And I'll give you guys an example. Last year, I only knocked 5 doors, period, all year. I did 2.4 million in sales. 300,000 of it was in commercial, which just happened by accident. Like we called the homeowner. He happened to be the fire chief. Their fire department got smoked. We called the homeowner. They happened to have bought a church building that became a daycare, you know, like things like that. It was just like random, you know, just like random.
Yeah.
But still 2.1 million in residential. And I traveled from storm to storm. So I had no referrals, no follow-ups, no nothing. Right? When referrals came in from those jobs I sold, I was kicking them for free to the other salespeople that were local in those areas. And I only worked 7 months last year. I normally work 9 months out of the year and sell 1.4 million, knocking doors, getting referrals, doing all the things, right? So I added an extra $1 million to my revenue simply by just running leads. That's it.
Wow.
And I also had so much more time in the day, right? So I can get on and in an hour and a half have 5 appointments set for tomorrow. Do you know how long it takes to knock doors and get on 5 roofs?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I set them up an hour and a half apart from each other, right? And I go because I take about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Dale Jr.'s like 20 minutes, 24 minutes is the key.
Yeah,
I can close them and get the contract signed, but I want to get the kickback later.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Like yeah, man. I feel like you have got to, and no, this is no slight against Dale at all, but I feel like you need more time with a client to really give them that difference.
Well, I believe that he is very accurate about getting the contract signed within that time frame. Okay. I believe
I think
that's fair. After we've signed the agreement, I call them customer agreements. As a matter of fact, on the top of mine, and I have one here, so I'll kind of, whatever.
I don't know. I have signed a ton of contracts after being there for over an hour.
On the top of mine, I put customer agreement instead of contract. The wording inside, and it has client information on that one.
You're good.
So, so the wording inside of that is, contractual, right? But I just put customer agreement. It lowers the defenses, and I call it a customer agreement when I'm there.
I feel like the client needs to be educated. So it really depends upon the client, and it depends upon all of your okay. Dale teaches a very multi-touch, faceted campaign to that client, right? Yes. And so by the time 30 minutes once you leave, 5 touches, right?
Well, maybe not in 30 minutes. Not in 30 minutes, but the 5 touches needs to be done in order to close a deal if you're not a closer on the front end. And I believe that.
Okay, so, maybe I was wrong on that, on the 30 minutes, but I know that once you leave, so for me, I always try to put that 5 touches in within an hour or 2 of leaving that house originally, right? So if I knock the door, I give them my business card, which I don't do business cards, physical business cards. I just don't do that shit. That's I do the tap, but I don't tap. I say, hey, actually here, I'll show you. It's really easy.
I think I do the same thing.
QR, I slide over and there's the QR. And so they can scan that QR, but then I take it ahead of that. And I also get their name, number, address, and email. And I put that in and I send them the digital card. So now I have a verifiable lead for that client.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't carry business cards. I leave them in my truck. And then what I do when they ask, I say, oh, hey, just give me your number, right? And they give me the number. I already know the name. And then I say, real quick, what's your email address? And they tell me, and then I leave, but I don't close my phone yet. And I put their address in because I know their address. I'm there.
Yep.
Right. And so the least questions I'm asking them at the door, the
Absolutely.
yeah. If I can figure out, I also fill out contracts before I go inside. If I know your name, I fill everything out except for your email address and the claim
What about
number.
upsell?
I mean, there's still room in the special instructions line.
My man.
Yeah,
there's still room. Leaving that upsell open.
Yeah, I mean, I fill out the scope, right?
Yeah.
In Colorado, you have to have a scope of work that you believe is the prescribed scope of work, a cost for the job on the contract, an approximate date of service, right, that you're going to do, and a couple other variables that have to be on there.
This leads into our kind of the next section. We may go over, if you don't mind, a little bit over an hour.
I don't have my first inspection today is at 1:30. So.
It's at 1:30. Okay. All right. So let's briefly speak about licensing, because licensing is a big deal.
Don't hate me, guys, but if we're going over, I need a small amount of nicotine.
Go ahead, bro. So licensing is a big deal. I've been talking about licensing. It's one of the things that I like to talk about on the broadcast, is what your take on licensing is. You're obviously in a state that requires a license, Colorado. Is there a certain idea or a certain thought that you have on the licensing outside of Colorado? Because I know you deal with contractors outside. You've been to Dallas, you've been in Minneapolis, you've been all over the place. Tell me what you think about licensing.
I personally, so for what I do, I'm not a licensed roofing installer.
Okay.
Personally. Okay. And I don't need to be because I broker the jobs to companies that are correct.
Like that.
However, I carry and I make every sales rep carry their own business insurance, their own workman's comp, etc. And I actually just did like a little video the other day for homeowners, and I said, hey, if a contractor's climbing on your roof and they're showing you their company's insurance, they are not covered under that insurance. They are an independent contractor, and they need to have their own insurance to protect you and them, right? And that's a whole nother thing. I know we're talking about licensing.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that.
I'm adamant about that. And even though I have my own qualms with particular insurance companies, I still believe for the protection of the homeowner and the contractor, as well as the company you're representing, it is very important for you to have those things in place. And you can get like business insurance. I think when I started out with my business insurance as a contractor, I was paying $400 or $500 a year through bizinsure.com. Right. Yeah. And it was probably some janky policy, but at least we were covered for something,
Right.
It was the equivalent of those people that sign up for those policies online these days, and then they find out they have zero coverage, but they only pay $20 a month. And then they wonder why their roof can't get bought. But the point is, have your own insurance. But when it comes to the licensing, I think it's very important. I remember in Colorado Springs last year, I want to say close to 80 companies allowed their licenses to lapse. I bet they're really beating themselves up right now.
Wow.
Yeah. But we had such a drought here for so long that people couldn't keep people. Right. And so,
dude.
Yeah. And Colorado Springs in our area is one of the places to procure that license. It can take you like a couple of years. So by the time you're able to work this storm, it's over with.
It's over.
I think licensing is very important, especially like Texas is a state where you don't need a license. And what happens is, and I have no problem with people leaving, branching off, starting their own businesses, even using the same subcontractor crews, whatever. But what happens is you have individuals without the proper knowledge working on $1 million homes, $500,000 homes. And like, if I haven't done the proper testing, how can I really say that this is done properly? Because you just, I think it's important. Again, I'm not a politician. I'm not pushing some agenda. There's like in Texas, there's some sort of voluntary license that you can get.
There is. Big shout out to HARCA. I'm on the board of Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association, which is a chapter of RCAT, Roofing Contractor Association of Texas. You can, and I will put a link in here on all destinations. You could put a link. I'll put a link on here so that you can click and join HARCA and RCAT. And on that, you can go and get licensed in the state of Texas. It is a voluntary license. Yes, it is. And it is directly through RCAT. And people took the time on these committees to write the tests, to actually study that craft and make sure that these were viable questions to have in a test, right? This is something that we're pushing in written legislation to our local branches of office, which includes going to Austin.
Yeah.
Right. And we get shot down all the time.
Yeah.
But yes, we have a voluntary license. And in Texas, if you are watching this and you're griping about the low barrier of entry, the truck in a truck stealing your job, if you're griping about just about anything, whereas it comes to roofing industry in Texas, if you start by getting that voluntary license and you start educating your clients on why it's important that they deal with a contractor that has a license, you're going to see a change. You're going to start to see a shift, and it's going to take a while. There have been people that have been a part of these organizations for years, for decades.
But I also, I'm not trying to go Florida with it either, right?
I mean, listen, I feel that a nice
there's a middle ground that has to be met
between California, Texas, and Florida. I think that there needs to be a nice balance. So California, you got to be a journeyman for 4 years.
Yeah.
To be a contractor, right? So you have to study your craft. You can't jump through the hoops, right? Yeah. Now you have, just like in anything, you got tons of money, you can make things happen. But to really do what's right by your consumer, right? I feel like there needs to be a middle ground between the 3 states, an e-verify system for labor, which would drive the price of labor up, which would drive the price of roofing up. Yes. And I was talking about this yesterday on a forum. Somebody's like, that would drive the price of roofing up. Is that bad?
Well, let me ask you this. It's like retail roofing is selling like an ICO dynasty, okay, at $1,800 a square.
Yeah.
Retail roofing, $1,200, $1,800 a square on, it's an impact resistant, whatever.
Right.
Okay. We in Colorado are probably storm restoration roofing somewhere around 640 to 680 a square, right? Minnesota, you're in the 700s. Iowa, maybe anywhere between 550 to 600. Obviously,
800.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, right?
Yep.
And so it's like,
but these are states like Denver. You have a license. Florida has a license. Connecticut has a license.
Yeah.
These are all, Minnesota has licensing.
Oh yeah.
Right. These are all states that have licensing. They have a high price per square.
Right.
Right. Texas, $385 a square.
Right.
Get out of here.
Right.
Do you expect me to put on a roof for $385 a square and profit from it and then not ask you for a supplement?
Right.
Oh, wait, hold on. I've got to jump through all the hoops to get the depreciation too.
Right.
So we're at the point that we have a deductible law it's called HB 2102, but we don't have a licensing law. So that's like, trying to put out a burning building with a freaking leaking bucket.
Yeah. And also, and that contract that I was holding up is a wild situation too, a little more rare. I mean, I can still find a lot of $1,000 deductibles in the Denver area, right?
Yeah.
I can, but I also do come across the 2%, the 1% of property values, all those things. This lady that's on that contract, one of my sales guys went out and sold. Turns out she has an ACV policy. She's got a 25-year 310. She's got an ACV policy and a $9,000 deductible. She is 78 years old. Okay.
Whoa.
What am I supposed to do to help this lady get her roof replaced? She's on a fixed income, 78 years old, and she's in tears. And it's like, as an agent, let's do better. Okay.
Yeah, we have got to do that.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you know that you can't give her a deal, that, okay, here's the thing. With me, if I can't help you, I am glad. I don't want to install your garage door. I'm going to be honest. Yep. I'm not a garage door guy. I'm not called the garage door broker.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not called the garage door fixer, but we'll just say you procured hail damage. My job is to tell you immediately, I'm going to get this garage door covered for you. And I know a handyman that's capable, or I know a garage door company that's capable, and you can handle that separately. Why are these insurance companies not saying we might not be the best fit for your needs?
I don't know. Actually, I do know. It's profit. Right. So like I'll talk about it. Like they want to profit the most as possible. And you know this, right? They're just sleazy car salesmen that are selling insurance. They went from selling dope to selling insurance. And that's what the fuck is going on. Excuse my language, but I am very opinionated about women that age, and about men that age as well. I feel that we should, I know that God requires his believers to treat elderly with more respect.
Correct.
And we're supposed to feed the fatherless and the widow. On and on and on. Like, there's just, that gets underneath my skin. I'm sorry. And, you know, this shit's going on with solar too. I mean, the tax liability needs to be talked about whenever you're dealing with a client that has low income, fixed income, and they have no tax liability. Why are you selling off a tax liability? Now, if they are not fixed income, they're older and they can afford it, then sell them the system.
Yeah.
But like, I cannot stand, it doesn't matter what you're selling. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, if you go to my grandma and you sell her an insurance policy and she's not covered, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah. And you
not by me.
With my company, as an example, the roofing broker. So every company should have a mission statement. So if you're one of those unlicensed roofers and you got a company, you should still have if you don't got a license, at least get a mission statement, something that you stand for and believe in. And so at the roofing broker, our mission statement is pose a threat to no one. Help as many people as you can and make a lot of friends along the way. That's it. That's it.
That.
And so with that being said, like, I clearly could make a few dollars off getting that garage door fixed. It's nothing to call the garage door installer and say, hey, insurance is covering this door at $1,875, right? I've priced the door. The door cost $800 or whatever, you know. I found it here for this price, so I need a $200 kickback. But I don't care about that.
A lot of people get in trouble with that. The extras, they get greedy. I've done it myself. I mean,
I'm not the
I fucked up the siding. Like, there are things that contractors think, or they want to be the best. And I feel like sometimes as contractors, we get stuck on helping and trying to help. I don't think that contractors are maliciously going out and like, oh, I'm going to screw up the garage door. Right. But I've screwed up a garage door.
Right.
I've had to go back. I mean, in Huntsville, right up the road from me, I had to go back, bring the deck back because I physically did the garage door myself. I thought, I'm going to save $300. I ended up spending 3 times as much because I had to get the garage door guy out to fix my mistakes.
And then the relationship that it has with that homeowner, right?
It's like,
Like circle back. I'm going to circle shamelessly back to my book and my training, right? A Telemarketer's Guide to Mastering the Art of Lead Generation. Like, people ask me, how are you going to monetize that so people continue to make purchases with you? And I'm thinking, dude, roofing companies pop up every single day. I don't need to do that. So what I do is, you pay the cost the one time, and I give you all the information to where your company can, like, if everyone at your company but you, and you did not sit in my training, if every person at your company left the company tomorrow and you wanted to bring in and implement this training you just paid for yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You did not sit in the training with one thumb drive in this book, in the workbooks, which I also give, like, e-copies of, so you can reprint and everything all the way down to the lead sheets, whatever. But with just this, you can re-implement that process over and over again, right? And the point is, it's like, I don't need to be in somebody's pocket permanently. I'm grateful for the sale that I've been given, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel that.
yeah, I mean, and I get these people, they call me, these smaller companies, and they're always like hung up, especially even if it's on sale. They're like, oh man, we don't have that type of money. And not to be salesy, but the question is, what if you were doubling your revenue off of this? Would you have the money then? Right? And then it's like, just, we'll use the 1-day training, $7,500. If you own a roofing company, even a smaller outfit, we'll just say a small outfit, and I put you on a roof right now, okay, a 40 square roof, nothing huge, nothing small, just a 40 square roof, and you signed the job, met the adjuster, picked up the scope, built the job, and you manage that project yourself, how much money do you make on that job? How much money?
I mean, 40 squares probably going to make $3 or $4 grand.
I would say 4, but we're going to call it 3. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll say you had a 50-50 profit split with your sales guy. Okay. We're going to go 50-50 profit split. Pretty common. Most likely you're pencil whipping them anyway. So whatever. But so you're going to take 10% for overhead, or 15% for overhead, and then split the rest. Okay. You're making almost $2,000 off of the first roof that you get with the training.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost $2 grand. We'll call it $1,700 even. So $1,700, and I don't want to get into trigonometry. No, I don't want to get into maths, but if I go 7,500.
My man said trigonometry.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Divided by 1,700. Okay. In 4 roofs, if you paid the sales guy to go out and, manage the project and all that, in 4 roofs, you have your money back. You're literally going to be on 4 to 5 roofs the day after I leave.
I love that.
2 days after I leave. If
that's hard to not.
If you're running it yourself, okay, that's 2 roofs that you have to do, and you have your complete ROI back in a system that works continuously, right? It's like, to me,
so it's going to make you so much more money.
It's not like a system that works for a while and then I call him back and spend another $15,000 because it's not on sale right now or anything like that.
I feel like outward brokered telemarketing doesn't work all the time.
No.
So if you broker your telemarketing out to someone else, it's hard for that. Like, you have to be able to switch gears.
Yeah.
Right. You have to say things different, and each day of the storm is different.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a local, it's different.
We stick with my pitch works notoriously. The only thing we change is how far back we say the storm was. Right. But no, you're correct. Like, we change up, there's some things that, like, my system can do that we don't do because I have 150 different companies that are clients. And so, like, every person that you call and talk to could immediately get an email right now with all of your company information. Every single person, right? I have ways that I can teach you where it could pop up, which you're going to get less answers. But if you just want to have like somebody or even nobody just call where it pops up 157 roofing, right? I'm trying to make sure that's no one's company name, right?
Right.
157 roofing. So we're talking 300 guaranteed exposures of your company in the storm zone per hour, right? Per hour. So if you had somebody on the line for 4 hours, even if nobody answered, you got what's that?
A billboard.
100 exposures of your company in the storm zone guaranteed on their missed calls.
Yep.
Right? Plus 1,200 emails that went out, right? There's nothing like what I'm doing, and you're not going to get it from a foreign call center. You're not going to get it from I've talked to many people that buy leads. I am the only company in the country that uses American dialers. And I'm not saying that like, make America great again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you want to know why, this works, it works because it's leads by roofers for roofers. I'm going to come in and make the homeless guy sound like he's been climbing on roofs for his whole life in a short period, right? And then you guys are going to be able to like answer the questions for them when they have questions. Because there was a lot in the beginning of my team coming to me and saying, Eli, do we do steel roofs? You know, and then I got to think, fuck, I got 100. Which company are you calling for? You know, we do install metal roofs, you know, whatever. Oh no, we're full exterior specialist, you know, whatever.
Right.
When we are calling the different storm zones, right, we're switching out what company we say we're with. Like a little sneak preview is when we say like the company name or like the information about the company, it's at the complete end of the pitch. It's actually after the appointment's been set, right?
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. So all I'm doing is giving you the why you need me there. And then I'm insinuating. And the other thing is like, these other companies are like, who's your insurance? And we learned from trial and error, like that's not the way to go about that. Right.
Yeah.
I'm calling you, you're a stranger. Okay. And now I'm asking you personal information. Yeah. Is this your email address? What's your, you know, whatever. And so what I learned was through the power of insinuation, I can insinuate to you so you believe that you came up with the idea that you need to file the claim tomorrow, which works great in Florida where you're not allowed to talk about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Florida contractors that are struggling, you guys are all calling me for leads. I don't really want to set your leads right. I got an opportunity for you to where you're not violating any of the laws and you're still getting the same results, right? And so like the way I like to word it personally when I'm on the phone, I don't know if it's really in my pitch that way, but how I just naturally, it comes off to me. By the way, quick question. Who do you use for homeowners insurance? And the only reason I'm asking is because different companies are looking for different damage and I don't want to give you any misinformation.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking you a question so I can give you the right information. And then you say so-and-so company, and I write that down, right? Like right here on the, lead sheet. Who do you use for homeowners insurance? So I write that down. Okay. Sneak preview of the lead sheet too, But yeah, so I write that down. And then when I'm there, I know that I need 12 hits in this 10 by 10, or I know that I need X amount of wind damage shingles per slope, or because I'm aware of that. And by the time I come off of the roof, they're already like, I'm explaining the damage. They have thought that they've come up with their own idea to contact their insurance company.
Inception, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Plant the seed. Step back, let their thoughts water it, show up and harvest.
That's fucking golden. So give me one takeaway that you would give to a viewer that's watching that may be struggling in their brain, in their mind with what they should be doing next.
I did from the very beginning. I built my business on just what's the next thing in front of me. Okay. So, like before I had a logo, the next thing in front of me was figuring out how the heck to design a logo. Right.
Yeah.
Before I had a website, the next thing in front of me was figuring out the website. Before I had contracts, the next thing in front of me was putting together a contract that was legally sound, right? Whatever that thing is. And so, like, if the next thing in front of me is just the neighbor's door or just getting that referral, or the next thing in front of me is just calling, sometimes it's that dreaded call, the 17th call to blank or, blank farm, insurance, right? And you're like, God, I got this storm thing, like just doing the next thing in front of you and getting it out of the way. Right. Because there's nothing better than clearing the path to the open field. Right. And I will allow all of these small things to stand in front of me. Right. I will allow the snow to be on the roofs. The fact that most of my customers were in Midwestern or Northern states, so they had snow on the roofs. I will allow the fact that I'm conditioned as a roofer to just collecting checks in the winter and not working. I'll allow all this stuff to get to me. And then sometimes it's like, well, hold on. How do you keep moving forward? Well, you write the book. I don't know how to write a book. Well, you just start writing, man. How do you close the deal? You keep bringing them back to the contract, man. You keep bringing them back to what you can do. It doesn't matter. Whatever's in front of you that's your barrier, it's not anyone else's job to move that from you. That's in your path, right? So, like, what's the next thing in front of me? Maybe the next thing in front of you guys today is try something different. Run to Office Max or Walmart or Target or wherever you shop and grab you some sticky notes, right? And maybe you're like, I just don't want to knock doors. Great. When you go out to that lead that your company bought from me and you close that deal, go just 6-pack the neighbors with, sticky notes. And then when they call, what's the good news? The good news, and I like to fudge a little. The good news is I just got your neighbor approved because I know I will. So I'm like, I just got to get approved. They're getting a free roof. I'm coming back out tomorrow to pick a shingle color. You're home at 3:00, right?
Oh, yeah.
So try something different, right? If what you're doing's not working, why continue to do it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on Roofing on the Rise. It has been a live broadcast today, the Roofing on the Rise studio. Today we had everyone's favorite roofing contractor, Eli King. We are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated in the Houston marketplace. If you're looking for your shingles, give me a call. Telephone number 210-919-8987. I will put my name and number across the bottom here. If you're looking for an awesome appraiser, umpire, public adjuster, West Group Public Adjusting is the people for you. You can also contact me, 210-919-8987. I will put you in contact with Jamie, the CEO of West Group Public Adjusting. Again, we had a live stream. This was awesome having Eli King, everyone's favorite roofing contractor. Eli, thank you so much for coming on, and stick around just for a second afterwards.
Yeah,
everybody, sure. You have a wonderful day, and keep on keeping on, and keep staying tuned to Roofing on the Rise.